Hello, hello, everyone. How are you doing on this fantastic night? I'm still a little bit not in a super comfortable position. It took a little longer than expected to start setting up because this table was just full of so many random things. You know, this is basically the junk table. It's just everything in the house just gets thrown on top. Smart of me, yes, yes. But yes, hi, hey everybody. How are you guys doing? I hope you've been having a good year so far. We're 1 month in. Hopefully everything's been going your way. Do some Reaper pages tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish exactly, because, you know, comic pages just take forever. I think very few people understand the actual time sink that goes into making comics. It's all the more reason why I'm absolutely insane for doing the Reaper series like I'm doing it, where we have these super lengthy but this is going to be hitting a new record. Reaper Book 2, we're hitting a brand new record here at over 180 pages really, because that's not including all of the extras that I'm going to put in the back of the book. Yeah, including a preview to book 3. So yeah, this is gonna be the longest graphic novel I've made to date at 180 pages. To give you some reference, that's like roughly about 1 volume of Freerun, if you follow that manga series. I don't. But yeah, so we're gonna do this page because I figured it'd be a fairly easy page. It's also like semi-action oriented. Perhaps that would be interesting to look at. Man, my wrist is not in a good position for drawing. Oh, I should have took more time getting set up, but I was in a rush. Yeah, you know, I can't lean my arm against the table because it's like all the way at the edge. Maybe if I tilt it this way? Alright, I think that's a little better. Anyways, so this is actually one image file. I did the drafts pages in a different file, and then I just like imported it into this because now I'm using Clip Studio X, which allows me to do all my comic pages in like one big file, which is very nice, very organized. I enjoy it. 10 out of 10. But yes, now I do have to kind of transfer things over, so this is just how I decided to do it. Is this? Yeah, it is. It's on top of the wire. Thinking to myself, why is this so wobbly? Anyway. Alright, so let's get these panels, Yep, that's the wrong tool. There we go. Let's get these panels out and ready for some drawing. And then we'll start our nice chill draw and talk. See, it's nice and easy. It's just 3 panels. Yeah, maybe move this up a little bit. Oh, you know what? I should have you guys act as the zoom-in police. If I start zooming in too often to the point where it starts making you nauseous, feel free to just say something. Just respond with a bunch of police emojis in chat, and I'll know to reel back. And I do have a tendency to like zoom in quite a bit. It's much easier on this tablet than it used to be. So I just do it more often. It also has a nice ASMR click when you use the wheel. I like that. I like the click. It's my favorite. Anyway. Alright, we're starting off with this page. Not on this page, so I figured, well, we're not gonna spoil anything. Maybe people prefer it that way. Yeah, I don't even know if I'll keep this part in, honestly. It could just be wiped later, so... yeah, maybe I don't worry about it for now. Alright, start with Ichabod's face, which is a little bit worried at the moment because he's being attacked by a monster. Not fun. So yeah, I'm thinking I'll do a couple of these streams, perhaps. That is the plan anyways. I'm trying to like pick out like decent, aren't gonna like spoil anything too late in the comic, but at the same time interesting pages. Like I didn't want to do pages from the first chapter because I thought maybe the first chapter would be too slow. I am skipping around essentially, which is not usually how I do comics and not how I would recommend doing comics. I prefer to do it linearly, actually. Do like chapter 1, then chapter 2, then chapter 3, etc. The reason I'm doing the pages out of order now is partially because, yes, the streams, I figure that it'll be more enjoyable to watch me do these pages. But also because I'm planning for the Reaper Book 2 campaign to have a comic dub trailer. And I want to have pages ready to do for the trailer. Already like talking with some voice actors as well. Because I figured maybe at some point you guys are going to get sick of hearing me and Adam do the voices to characters. I'm already kind of sick of it. Not that I would knock anyone else for voicing their own characters for a thing when they don't have like the money for voice acting or anything. I don't even have money for hiring voice actors really, but you know what? We're splurging. I let the impulsive thoughts win, so now we're hiring voice actors. No, but I am excited. I think it's gonna turn out soup's good. Is this already too zoomed in for you? Gotta clean this screen. There's like dust and stuff on this. Move the mic towards me, I guess. Alright, so how's everybody doing? What's the best way to start doing digital art? I only draw on paper now, and I feel like it's holding me back. Oh, I don't know about that, honestly. Sometimes I feel like I draw better traditionally than I do digitally. Or at least, I think I hatch better traditionally. I've done like a few traditional art pieces recently, for example. And something about using like those markers as opposed to just using this pen digitally, it just has like this different feel to it that clicks with me in a way that digital doesn't. I still prefer my art digital, but it's not really because of it's more so because like I feel like I can clean it up more digital. So it's sort of just like what's a good way to describe this? It eases some insecurity, I guess. Makes me feel like I don't have to worry about making a mistake more, whereas when I'm doing traditional art, it feels like as soon as I make a mistake, the world is ending. And you don't really get that with digital. It's like kind of just okay. Like you see how many times I undo these random lines. There's nothing really wrong with those lines, but you know, it's... I want the best of the best lines, damn it. I guess people also say that that is an issue, is that you start to overthink, but I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. Overthinking is all I can do. It's all I've ever been taught to do. But let's see. Best way to start doing digital art, I guess, you just start with illustrations on a tablet. You don't have to get a fancy tablet. You can, there's like cheap ones available. Magic of technology and whatnot, as it advances, it gets cheaper. Especially like these Chinese tablets they keep on coming out with. It's super cheap. Yeah, you can just start with like some illustrations on a tablet, get used to the feel. And then things start to click. Like this wheel. Click, 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 click. Good wheel. I like it when it clicks. Best wheel. 10 out of 10. Alright. That's an okay face, I guess. Thinking like this lip is going up too high, but I guess it's supposed to go up high. So you see, maybe that's just me second guessing things. It's supposed to go up high. It's an expression. It's supposed to be over dramatic. Stop overthinking things. I can always go back and fix it later. Yeah, paper is expensive. Is it? Yeah, I don't know. I'll voice act for free as long as it's only a few lines. Well, keep in mind, I do want it to sound good. That's why we're splurging. We're splurging for good sounds. Still got an iPad for drawing digital? Oh yeah, you know, I used to have an iPad. I never drew on it though. Like, I tried drawing on it at one point, but like, I don't know, it was just all fucked up. The iPad itself wasn't fucked up. There's just, I don't know, something was screwy with it. I can't really quite explain. I had a Mac for the longest time, but it's not because I liked Mac. It's because an art school that I used to go to required that we all had a Mac. Yeah, nothing shady going on there. But yeah, so we splurged for this super expensive MacBook. And it's not even like I really liked it that much. It's just, at one point, it's the only laptop I had. It is good to just have a laptop, though, when you're an artist who needs to carry their work around with them. So, not the worst thing in the world. Man, my laptop is already cooking. It's already cooking. What are you gonna do? It was cooking before we even started stream, honestly. It was already heating up quite a bit. Wasn't even doing anything yet. Now it's just brew. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Never got Apple products, so I can't speak on them. They're like, it's fine. It's not like I hated it or anything. It's just expensive. You know, I feel like a lot of these products were like more worth it back in the day. Like when they first come out, they're worth it. And then once you update it enough times, they're not worth it anymore. Remember when Windows used to have like all these nice special features on it? Like, okay, all that stuff is gone now. And we're more money. He took away features and then charged you more money. Yay! RIP Windows Movie Maker. Am I right, guys? Is that straight? I don't think it is. Nah, that's gay. It's not straight. There, it's straighter. That's another thing I have issues with. Keeping shit straight. Alright. This should be good for now. So, looking to do that comic dub sometime before the campaign starts. Have that ready for the trailer. I'm also trying to like get some nice musical composition done for it. And as I've become prone to doing, I've hired someone on Fiverr to get that done for me. Fiverr's not terrible, they're just a terrible company, that's all. But yeah, and it's funny because I had this conversation with my friends not too long ago, and now I've been reminded of it again as the Fiverr guy got back to me with like a first draft of the song. You know the original, or not the original, you know the English Yu-Gi-Oh opening? The opening that 4Kids made, not like the actual anime openings. Does anyone know about the original anime songs? I don't know, but the original 4Kids opening where it's like your move and then there's like, I don't know, sick beats. They were cooking. No, I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed it. I don't care. I don't care that they threw out the original soundtrack. That there was something going on with the new Yu-Gi-Oh soundtrack that 4Kids added that I actually did not mind it. I appreciated it quite a bit. But the reason why I bring it up is because at the beginning they play some sort of horn thing, or they're trying to make it sound Egyptian, right? Give you the deepest lore, deepest Egyptian lore. And they play this horn instrument. I don't know what it is. And one of our friends like brought up like, what is that horn that they play? What is that instrument that they're playing at the beginning of the Yu-Gi-Oh thing? All I know is that it sounds Egyptian, but I don't know what it is. And none of us could really answer. We never looked it up, but it's funny. I'll give it that. Now we question whether or not it is actually Egyptian, or if we only have that association because, like, fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Because we know it's supposed to be Egyptian, even if it's not. I don't know. But the reason why I was reminded of it recently is because I got this song back, and I swear he's using the same horn. Whatever that instrument is, I think this guy is using it. Which is an odd choice for the song that I was requesting. Obviously, I don't want the Egyptian Yu-Gi-Oh horn to be the background music for my Reaper trailer, but I find it funny that I find myself, like, at a loss to, like, explain to him to take that instrument out because I don't know what the instrument is. It's like, oh, whatever that is, whatever sounds Egyptian that you have included in my song, please take it out. That is not what I was going for, actually. Oh, sorry. I am zoomed in quite a bit, aren't I? Hang on. That's better, right? But anyway, that's what I've been going through. Hold up, Dannphan sending me on a side quest. Ram's horn? Is that what it is? A Suana? I don't know. I don't know, it sounds like it sounds like some sort of pipe or flute. And I don't know why he would include it in, like, the song that I'm trying to commission. If it's, like, secretly some sort of Celtic horn, but they just used it for Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, like, conspiracy theory, let's go? I don't know. Righty. Where would you even, like, look up Egyptian horns? Where would that information be? It's an Egyptian flute? Is that actually what it's called, though? Why would he use an Egyptian flute in my song? Minor magic item, horn of conspiracy theories. Blow the horn and it makes new conspiracy theories that people start spreading. Yeah, there you go. Get some nice Yu-Gi-Oh! Conspiracy theories out there in the world. This is too close. Must fix. Yeah, this is something that I do like with drawing digital that you're not gonna get drawing traditionally, is like just the ability to click line away. Very strong ability. Some might even say overpowered amongst the artist. head is probably tilted a little bit too much. Maybe I just think that because I have also tilted the stream. Ah, his head is tilted too much. I had to tilt it back a little bit more. Looks like it's maybe called a nyeh. Yeah, there you go. I'm glad that we're not the only ones who don't understand what the heck this flute is, though. I mean, surely 4Kids would only use it if it had something to do with Egyptians. They knew what they were doing. They were making intelligent decisions left and right. I will say, as much as people like to dog on 4Kids, I actually don't hate them that much. I respect them a lot more than I do like all these other dubbing companies that will change stuff in the dub for no reason. Like, at least 4Kids had a reason. They were trying to appease parents. Parents who focused grouped the anime and said that certain parts had to be removed because they were not child appropriate. You know? At least they had a reason for doing what they do. But then there are all these other companies that just do it just because. Just because they feel like it. And there's no parents contacting them and telling them, take it out of the show. It's just their own hubris, you know? I can't respect that. You're not trying to make anyone happy but yourself. Well, there you go. You know? Dannphan's rant of the day. Alright. I think the craziest part of 4Kids is the G.I. Joe anime. That while in style of anime, it was, to my knowledge, a cartoon. But it was animated by an anime studio. Yeah, there's a few of those. I mean, now anime is like completely dominating the animation industry. Completely. It's like not even a contest. But there was a point in time where America was actually the one completely dominating the animation industry. And so Japan was eager to work with them wherever they could. Now it seems like it's the other way around, really. But how the turntables have turned. Alrighty. Is that all we got for line work here? That's about it. Start doing the tones and yeah, you know what? Let's put the other part of his hood over here. And add some. That line's too thick. Getting somewhere. So now this is not. There we go. I'm gonna have to increase that closed gap. Not completely closing. Alrighty. See, we're getting somewhere. Doesn't this look fantastic? Well, it looks alright. It's fine. Let's see. You can always lean into it and start selling Reaper dual cards. Yeah. Once we get the Egyptian flute and the music, you gotta start selling trading cards and encouraging people to gamble. It's the only way! Shadow on the nose, maybe? I don't know if that really looks right if he's leaning his head back, though. Just... wrong button. Make this part look a little bit more metal. Add some hard shine to it. Let's turn these black lines white so that we can actually see the line work here. Oh, hey, man carry. Working today, but keep fighting, drawing, etc. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Come on. Ooh, boy, my laptop is cooking. Cooking some Yu-Gi-Oh theme songs. listen to the soundtrack of The English Patient. It may have the AOE instrument you're looking for. Yeah, not sure. Not sure. Perhaps, though. Yeah, as I was saying before, I don't think people always realize exactly how much of a time sink comics is. I don't exactly do the best job at keeping up all the time, or keeping track with how long I actually sink into making the comics. I mean, I have a general goal that I usually stick to. I think most people just, you know, generally have like a day-to-day goal that they stick to. And mine tends to be at least 1 page a day. At least when it comes to inking. And then when we get into like more complicated stuff, when it comes to like, say, drafts, I like to do multiple pages a day. But drafts are like easy because those are just a bunch of sketches. Well, you see how loose my drafts are. They're just like, I didn't even like really draw a background for this one, you know? It's just like general, the idea of what is going to be in the panel. Something to generally get an idea for, you know? Am I going crazy? Yeah, okay, there we go. What is it picking up here that's not white? Why is it doing that? Yeah, whatever. I'll just do this. Yeah, or not. Or not. That's fine. I'll just do this. Yeah. Get fucked. Just trying to like get a little bit more motion. I'll also add, let's see, what studio has like a thing for this somewhere. Speed lines, what do we got? Scattered speed lines? Yeah, something like this. Maybe a little bit better though. Guess that's fine. probably add something else to it later. But yeah, like I was saying before, takes a lot of time to finish a page. Probably like part of the reason why I said I'm not 100% sure I'll finish this page. But who knows? It is a simple page. Part of the reason why I picked it to be the first page to draw on stream. It's very simple. Yeah, I feel like I could get more motion out of this panel. It's like kinda fine, but yeah. Go for some like darker line over here. Let's see. Where's the... What's the symmetry guide? Is that what I'm looking for? Ah, parallel line. Set this up. That's going to be thicker. So yes, all I guess perks of digital. But normally, inking up a page, it takes anywhere between like maybe 5 to 7 hours. Granted, you know, this is maybe more lengthy than other comics. More detailed than other comics I've done. I'm sure, like Horizon Quest, for example, was probably less time than that. But yeah, it's just one of those things, you know? And then drafting a page, just doing the drafts alone, it's probably like a whole other hour. Of course, you know, depending on how much detail you're putting in and how much time you take drafting it. But it's a lot of work. And it can be kind of demoralizing just realizing how long it's gonna take you to finish something in general. But you know. So, this creature that I'm drawing up for this particular page, this fight scene that we're gonna get in the second book, This is of a monster of my own creation. Not that we won't see any classic fantasy monsters in Reaper. We definitely will. But it also makes sense that there would be unique monsters because of generally the lore that I've set up here. I gave him flat teeth. Huh. Maybe I'll just put sharp teeth in the front. It's kind of like a combination of like a saber-toothed tiger and a weasel, a very weaselly head. And a hedgehog, kinda, because they're covered in these quills, which are very difficult to visually show, gotta say. Not impossible, just very difficult. I actually drew this guy in another art piece, and I was just trying to just hatch everything, and fuck, that is not exactly the way to go about it, is it? I mean, granted, it'll look really nice all hatched up, but it's probably not super efficient when you have to draw them for multiple panels. That's another thing that I'm trying to keep my eye on, is to not make anyone so detailed that I'm going to forget about the details or get exhausted and not want to draw anymore because this character is just too much of a pain to draw or something. Part of me like feels maybe disappointed that I have this sort of westerny anime style that I've stuck to for a long time. Because I think most people will stick their nose up at that kind of style. Especially now, because there's all these other artists trying to copy it, and it's, you know, 80% of the time it just doesn't look quite right. Maybe mine is just not looking quite right. That's fair, it's fine. I understand if you don't like the style. It is something that I can manage, something that I've just kind of eased myself into always drawing and being relatively happy with drawing. So when I was doing Reaper, I wasn't really entirely sure if it would fit, and maybe it doesn't. I don't know for sure. I'm hoping it does. Somebody said that it was an okay style for this type of book. So I will believe that one person over other people. Because that's the answer that I want to hear. It's hard though, man. It's not that I wouldn't draw Reaper in another style if I could go back in time, you know. It's not like I would say that I'd never try drawing Reaper in another more detailed style. It's just that time factor, mostly, is that I'd like to... Well, first of all, I do something that I have experience with drawing, rather than going through all the effort of learning something new and then risking the art not looking quite right for the majority of the book series, right? And then it's also that factor of that I'll have to redraw it again and again and again and again and again. And so I'm sort of trying to do something that I'll be able to draw again and again without it taking too much out of me. And sometimes I see other manga artists out there who are drawing in a much more serious style, doing their own fantasy things, and I'm like, oh god, I should have done Reaper in that style, right? But then I'm like, man, but that seems excessive when I'm just doing all of these pages by myself. All these other people, they have assistants, and that's something that I have to keep on reminding myself. Because it's hard to remember sometimes that, sometimes what someone else can do is not something that you can do. This is way too high. Chrysalit saying you're getting better. Well, thank you. I do appreciate it. It is nice to hear people's words of encouragement. It's like one of those funny things about the internet is very often when people like something that you do, they'll just leave a like and continue on. But if someone doesn't like something that you do, they'll leave a comment. And you always look at the comments. And so maybe it gives you this super false perception, or this overly negative perception that you're much worse than you actually are. Not that I don't appreciate criticism, but I notice that very often with anyone doing online content, really. One of the main reasons why they give up is because of kind of negativity is all they ever read, essentially. I imagine it's especially much worse when you're very well known. You get 2 likes, and then the first comment you get is of someone saying that it looks like shit. And words affect you much more than just a like does. So even though it's just one person saying, oh, your work looks like shit, it doesn't matter, because they're the only ones who actually said something. It's part of the reason why I would encourage people to actually comment on artists' stuff. Or same thing with the videos too. Comment more, guys. Not just for the algorithm, but because actually matter. Yeah, especially, God, some of my videos. Some of the comments are absolutely outrageous. And that's what gets pushed to me on the YouTube studio page, they push the comments. You know? So you could very well have liked the video, and you could have left your like on the video, but I don't see that on the studio page. All I see are the comments. That's what they showcase and put forward on my page. And some of those comments are just absolutely nasty. God damn. But you know how it is. It's the internet, baby. What are you gonna do about it? Yeah, I know it's just mostly people that are leaving, you know, impulsive comments and not actually thinking through what they're saying. I've been there. I just don't like that that's how a lot of social media runs. Because it's usually not the nice people leaving the comments, you know what I mean? But maybe that'll change in the future. The intrusive thoughts one. Yeah, something like that. You see how I'm just like now hatching this thing up even though I said that I wasn't gonna do that? You guys should have called me out. The ear up higher. It's gotta be in line with the eye because I said so. Yes, this creature that I made up. I decide the anatomy. Well, I'll do a little bit of hatching. Just cuz. I should move away from doing the hatching though and move on to the panel already. This panel is actually going to be the one that takes up the most time, given that it's also the biggest one. Alright. Increase that a little bit. Oh. No luck. But yeah, going back to talking about style. I can accept that I'm not gonna be like the best Kentaro Miura. I have issues actually saying the dude's name. I can accept that I'm not gonna be the best Berserk artist, you know? At the very least, I'm just trying to be the best me artist. Because that's all I can be. That's a quote that I hear people say when they're coping, you know? Like, I can't be the best Van Gogh, but I can be the best me. Or something. Something like that. God. I don't even know the original quote. I just know that people, you know, mimic that mentality. of like, okay, all I have to do is focus on what I can do now and perfecting it. And I respect that. You can draw with enormous amounts of detail if you want. All you have to do is hire 5 assistants. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I would totally hire assistants if I could. I cannot, however. I do not sell enough comics to hire a bunch of assistants. Someday in the future, if I do want to continue like Reaper as a series, it would be nice to get books getting done at a much better pace. And a way to do that certainly would be to hire assistants to help pump out these books quicker. We'll call that a future goal. Future goal. Sell enough books. Start hiring assistants. And then we'll have like... Then we'll really be cooking with these Reaper books. And it'll really start coming out quickly. But, you know, for now we're working with what we got. And what we got is me. And I can get the books done. It's just gonna not be quick. So, book 2, breaking records. Longest graphic novel I've ever done. At 180 pages. Plus some extras at the end. You're gonna love it. They're good extras. They're the best extras, in fact. I think you'll enjoy. However, it is gonna take me a long time. It's, as I mentioned before, if I'm like inking up roughly 1 page per day, you can do the math. It's gonna take me at least like half a year to actually finish drawing everything. That's not including, like, you know, editing and stuff. Or the time it takes to, like, get the books back from the printer. So maybe we're looking at, like, from the time of the campaign, maybe 7 months. I don't know. But that's a long time to wait for a book. Granted, I guess, you know, people are used to waiting for books to come from crowdfunding campaigns. I get that. And I'm glad that I did decide to do Reaper as self-contained stories within a much longer arc, because I feel like that's much more satisfying to read, especially when you've been waiting a long time for a book. However, of course, I can also see like people losing interest because the next book takes too long, and that is just always kind of an issue that that artists working alone are gonna run into. I mean, even mangaka have this issue. It's part of the reason why they're so anxious all the time getting the next book out. Or getting the next chapter out, I guess. Because God forbid people forget about you or lose interest. And then it's just all over. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. But, you know, that's the cruelty of doing comics. What do I want to do under this eye? Something like that, maybe? I'm kind of like half making this up as I go along, not gonna lie. Now, part of me is thinking I can do like some sort of tone around the eyes to make them like pop out more. If that doesn't work, I can always just erase the black underneath. Oh, hey Michael. I'm learning to use screen tones in Clip Studio. How do you minimize the more effect? That is difficult, my dude. You know, I messed up my screen tones hardcore on Reaper Book 1. That was for multiple reasons though. So I'm not even sure if I really got it completely right on this one. But do a brief show of whatever, so everyone else is like caught up on what you're talking about. So he's talking about these screen tones effect. There's like a bar that says frequency here, and you can like make them bigger or smaller. And usually it's just a matter of changing the frequency, changing the angle. Also, never use circle. Just never use it. It'll kill you. It's bad. Just don't use circle. That's one thing that I can say is just not working. I like line. Line is my favorite. Line and cross, my favorite screen tones so far. Hey, what's up, Young Wavy? Excellent work. I'm working alongside as well. Thank you. Those of you who don't know, Young Wavy also does some indie manga-like work, and he's very good. So feel free to check him out. That is what happened to World Trigger. Uh-oh, I used the hell out of Circle. Well, Circle is the base, so you would be fooled into thinking that it was very good. But it also has that effect the most out of all of them. Also, I would not recommend using screen tones at a low DPI. They look objectively much better. 1200, I mean, is like ideal, right? But 600, they look fine. I'm working in 600 right now. I don't have any screen tones on here yet. I mean, eventually I will add some, I suppose, but yeah. My laptop is already cooking. I'm not gonna cook it any harder with that 1200 DPI. It's actually Mixum. That was the last printer I worked with, and they always recommend 300 DPI just as a base. But if you go to a printer that has actually like worked with manga before, what they will actually recommend to you is that you work in 300 DPI for colored works, and for black and white you're actually gonna want something higher, something like 600. So I found that to be an interesting discovery. And I will be working with a different printer. Of course, I believe I said that before, but I'll say it again. I'm going to be working with a different printer and hopefully a much better printer. Make book 2 look much better. A gal can dream. Alright, let me try adding I'll try just adding line effect right now instead of going straight for the screen tones. Usually it looks better to just hatch everything, but you know how it is. It also takes forever, you know? Oops, had the stabilization on. Made a squiggle. Alright, that looks a little bit better anyways. Still kind of looks like bleh. For lack of a more adequate term. Oh, you know what I should be... What I should do? Let's get the line work. I'll use like a parallel line to... selected. Okay. Oh, is this not actually selected? What happened? Alright. Try that again. Take 2. So this for sure is gonna get in there. Alright, get rid of this. Maybe I should make these lines a little bit thinner. What is it right now? 8? 10? No, probably too high. Let's see. Currently working on a backlog of work. Before I start releasing again, I would love to feature a Burning Star ad within my magazine issues. I'll contact you directly about it. Sounds pretty cool, man. Alright. Let's fucking go. Honestly, besides Reaper, I'm also doing a side project, which I know sounds insane. I was like, God damn it, Dannphan, what are you thinking? You were just complaining about how long this comic's gonna take. Doing a side project as well? Absolute mad lass. Yes. You are correct. I don't think that the side project is gonna take that long though, because it's only supposed to be 10 pages, and it's also fantasy, so I figure it'll help me like brush up my skills for second book of Reaper. That was my thought process anyway. That was how I convinced myself that it was fine. Can't really say if I was right about that, but alright. Let's do some tones. So I'd like to make this guy pop out a little bit more. I could also do tones as the background instead of doing it on his face, but I'll do it on his face. Let's get spicy. Keep in mind, of course, I have not printed tones since Reaper Book 1. So I can't guarantee if the way that I'm doing it is still the correct way. And I am working in 300 DPI rather than 200. or rather than 1200, which I guess people recommend. But you know, it's a whole lot of hundreds. Right. Let's leave his eye super glowy. I think that looks nice, right? Let's fuck around with tones. So I'm not gonna do circle. Let's see how line works. Line's not really super doing it for me. If I want to be crazy, I have it go with all the other lines, right? But you see, this is kind of giving me a trippy kind of, you know, maybe this is too much lines on one panel. I don't entirely hate it, but no, maybe that's not the way to do it. This is cross, which I also like. I like cross. Usually it's not parallel like this is, though. It's because I changed the angle. There's ellipse. There's noise. Noise looks kind of fucking cool on this guy, actually. Am I feeling it? Noise is noise. I can't change the frequency? Why is that? That's weird. Noise is, funny enough, it's like something that I used on the eyes of the zombies for book 1. Which apparently my zombies didn't look good. According to Coffee Comics. My zombies were too cartoony. There goes my insecurity about me doing Reaper in this style. But I liked the effect on the eyes that Noise had. And I will probably continue to do that effect. Yeah, I'm feeling it for Noise. Look at that. I like that. I don't know, maybe it's too dark. You could make this argument. You could make this argument. Yeah. I can make it lighter. I can make it darker. Huh? Maybe I just got too attached. I could also make the background dark. That is the other possibility. Both options would make this monster pop out. In fact, why don't we try one where we make the background super dark instead? Yeah? That's also nice. It's also nice, you know? Instead, I'll try Noise on that one. That's not bad. That's not bad. That might actually go with like the text too, because I'm gonna have like a super edgy, like scree sound effect on here, right? What do you think? Background or monster? Both? Noising it up? No, that's too much. Alright, I'm gonna say background, but there's always room for change. Make it lighter, maybe? Well, if the guy's gonna pop out, then it makes sense to make it dark. Alright. We're gonna move on to the last panel, but just to give you an update, this is like what we're looking at so far. And the last panel is gonna be the action shot. Woo! Okay, so here's my issue here. You can kind of tell I skipped out on drawing the backgrounds quite a bit for this panel. Now here's why. So it's all woods, you know, he's just getting attacked in the woods, which is pretty simple. I've been doing the woods backgrounds in a very simple Freerun-esque style, which is just a fancy way of saying I've been using brushes and hatching. But it's been looking okay, I think. I think I've been overall pretty happy with how I've been doing the woods backgrounds, and the important thing is that it's quick. It's quick and it doesn't look bad. You know, it gets the job done, and that is important when you have to do 180 pages by yourself, you know? Alright. But for this, one of the issues I'm running into is I need reference for destruction. You know what I mean? Like the ground in this instance. Why do I have stabilization on? The ground in this instance is getting like kicked up and fucked up, right? And all of the references that I typically use for destruction involve concrete or like cities being destroyed. And this is kind of a unique case. Oh, because it's, yeah, okay. This is a kind of unique case because this is just the ground. This is just like woods, you know? This is just dirt and maybe like a little bit of rock. Grass, I guess. It's going to be attached to some of that rock. But it, you know, we're following slightly different than... Sometimes I tap and it just doesn't tap, you know? You know what I mean. The sensitivity's all off. So, it's a little... The point I was trying to make is it's a little bit more complicated to do destruction in this specific context, because I don't have a whole lot of references for nature destruction. So I need to pile up on some of that. It's something that I gotta do at some point. Because it's important to have references handy when you're drawing something that you're not super familiar with drawing. But I can, at the very least for this stream, do the outline of the characters and then maybe add to it later on. Maybe that's something I should do. It's a thought. Is it a webcomic or manga? Yeah, it's going to be printed. I'm posting it on my Subscribestar, but I have these crowdfunding campaigns where I crowdfund to have it printed, and I sell them later on my website, which is also where you can buy book 1. So, yeah, exciting stuff, right? Alright, so I'm thinking I'm gonna probably draw Ichabod first, and then the monster. Those are my thoughts. If I remember correctly, promises were made the new volumes would contain caked up waifus. Oh, you want to see the waifu? You want to see the waifu that I put in this comic? Oh, there. This is a page that's featuring her. It's right there. I think I did release a brief sketch that I did at one point of the waifu that's featured in Reaper Book 2. She's only... Not that she's never gonna appear again, but she's only really like the center of attention in Book 2. Well, no, center of attention is not even what I'm trying to say either. She's not important. There it is. Yeah, she's not really important. It's her relation to another character that becomes the important thing. But she is a waifu. And that is in of itself important when you're drawing a comic that's a big sausage fest, you know? You gotta get some titties in there somewhere. Otherwise, people are not gonna want to read it. This is just a fact of life. I'm not mad about it. I get it. No, I get it. If I were on the outside looking in and I saw like only male characters in a comic, first thought would be gay? I don't know. Is gay? Maybe? Are we going gay? Is it wrong that I have these thoughts? Maybe. Maybe I've just been conditioned because there's a lot of gay that I read, you know? I've showcased this on the channel. There's just a lot of gay things. But I don't want people to necessarily have that takeaway, because that's just kind of not the case. And if they're expecting that, they're going to be disappointed. God, now I'm reminded of like this. This is a story from like way back when, I don't know, maybe a couple years ago, but me and Adam were just hanging out on the couch, scrolling through like Amazon Prime, seeing what anime options they had. They had a lot of dog shit. Not gonna lie, it's just like 80% dog shit on there. But we decided to just like start picking them at random, because like another thing about, and I don't know if they fixed this now, they probably did, but at the time there was a big problem of it not saying what the anime was about. They would just like list it on there, but we have no idea what we were getting into when we actually like went to watch it. So we were kind of playing a dangerous game, because they also didn't organize their pornographic material. You see where this is going. You see why I brought up the gay, huh? But yeah, so we're going in blind. And at some point, it caused me to be very skeptical of anything that looked even remotely like romantically tense, or any kind of tension whatsoever. I started to get like extra skeptical of. And so he like, I don't know, he pops one of the images of the anime up, and he's like, what about this one? And I'm shaking my head and I'm like, it's gay. It's gotta be gay, man. And he's like, why do you think that? What could possibly give you this indication? And I just look at him and I'm like, two men on the cover smiling at each other? Don't be naive. And obviously I know now that this is not a law that actually applies, but it's just because we had encountered so much saucy material on the selection that was like my immediate first thought. But now it's just a funny story. I'm sure you guys can relate. Waifu with good character, hell yeah. Hey Ray Dillon. Welcome to the stream. I guess you arrived at a very awkward moment where I'm talking about something very confusing if you're not following with the conversation. Ah, sorry. Zoom in, police. Make sure that you tell me when I'm zooming in too far. I don't want to get anyone nauseous on drawing stream. Try to make this curvature more dramatic. Alright. That's what I'm talking about. Ah. Yeah, perhaps don't approach many of it like that. Yeah. It's just like one of those things where certain streaming services, they don't tell you what you're getting into. They just like put it out there and there's no description, there's no genre, it's nothing. You just have a picture and a title and then they expect you to figure it out. Is this suitable for my child? I don't know. Let's roll the dice. That was a big issue when Goblin Slayer first came out. I forget what streaming service it was, but it was labeled for kids. That's fucked up. Well, I think the more fucked up part about it is that we like actually encountered kids who had seen it when it came out, and oof, you know. You want to believe that hopefully they changed it beforehand so that wouldn't have happened, but no, it did happen. Gotta be quicker. God damn. Kids, it's messed up. Yeah. Yeah. It is certainly not for kids. It's weird being in Clip Studio at the same time, but we have different workspace layouts. I'm gonna need you to make yours exactly like mine. Thanks. Yeah. I think that's another, like, funny thing is one of the most frustrating, like, great parts about Clip Studio, but also the most frustrating is how easy it is to change your workspace layout. Because you just, like, drag one of these corners and then just pull it out, right? But I do that all the time by accident, and it drives me insane. It's fantastic. It's so easy to do. Too easy, in fact. But no, I do love Clip Studio. Oh, thanks for the donation, Maverick Christian. Good artwork. Also, you know what's even better than a positive comment? A positive comment with money. I don't think I highlighted the first super chat, so let me highlight it now. I don't know if there's like a way for me to just have StreamYard automatically pop up the super chats for me, because it's hard to highlight them while I'm drawing or remember to highlight them. I think I've gotten better at or generally better at reading chat while I'm working though. At least compared to when I was first starting off and I had absolutely no idea how I could possibly keep up. Now I have a general idea. It's better than nothing. Let's see, anyone read Sandman lately? No, can't say that I have. Don't like how his fingers are not wrapped around the sword very snugly. This must change. That's a little bit better. Not really showing his thumb in this shot. So part of me is a little bit like off kilter because of that alone. Yeah, I should also add like maybe some hints. Ugh. Still some learning to do as far as comic making goes, of course. But always good to hear I'm improving. Thank you for the compliments, guys. I appreciate it. It's really hard. Art is hard. I don't know if you've heard this before. It's hard and it feels like it's not worth much to some people. But I love it. I do love it. How's that? That's something. It's all gonna be black anyways. Stop overthinking it, Dannphan. Gah! Alrighty. That's something. Add a little line here. Get that flow of motion going. Now let's finish up this sword before I forget about it. That's, oh god. Me drawing things at angles. It's always fucking me up. Better-ish. Right. I'll take better-ish as opposed to not better at all. like the subtlety of ridges rather than doing them all the way through. See if I can make that work. Eek. Ugly line. I think weapons are mostly just hard because of the consistency thing. So you want to keep them looking as consistent as you can. And that is the hard part, I think. Anyways. Ew. Stop it. Bad line. I think that was one of the rough things about the first Reaper book, is my god, the consistency was all over the place. Especially the sword. The sword is important, so like, yeah, I should be more careful with it in the future. Alrighty. I think that will do for now. Gotta add the random bandages to cover up the sword. It's funny, like now with this written version, obviously story's been cooking for a long time, so there are a bunch of different versions of like generally the same story. So I believe in one of the like original drafts had the idea of it being the sword being covered up by like a what do they call those, sutras? The paper things that you like draw the magic symbols on and stick to something. That was way too Japanese, of course. I opted out of doing that because I didn't think it really fit with the world, and I also didn't really think that Alvin would have those at his disposal. But I still wanted to put, like, something around the sword just to cover up its identity. Because you don't want people to know that you have this specific sword, as it is one of a kind. We are planning to game stream tonight, too. Although I feel like I should stop telling people when we're going to game stream, because it seems like whenever I announce it on the channel, something comes up and plans change and then we're not streaming anymore. But last night, I should be more specific, we were streaming this game called Kazan? Kazan? I don't know, man. I believe it's a Russian name. Please do feel free to correct me in the comments or in the chat if you know. But it's this really nice new Souls-like game that Adam has been enjoying the heck out of. Which is insane. It's just the demo is out and he's like, this is already the best Souls-like I've ever played. And I love Souls-like games. I don't know if you can tell where the inspiration of Reaper came from, but yes, I'm a big fan of Dark Souls, and that type of game style in general just appeals to me. I am the target audience, it's true. So, if it does turn out to be a fantastic game upon its official release, I would also love to play it. And then, yeah, it's just a nice thing. It's nice to mention when games are fun. I don't really know what they're going for story-wise. Right now it kind of feels like they're doing some sort of angel versus demon thing, but not explicitly saying angel versus demon. They're a little bit more subtle than that, right? They're like changing the names up a little. That's generally the impression that I'm getting. I've mentioned it before, but I have grown quite sick and tired of the random anti-God messaging that occasionally you see in media. Where it's like, God was the bad guy. Actually, angels are douchebags. What? It's so quirky. We're so edgy, guys. What? We were the demons all along. And that's a good thing. You know what I mean? And part of the reason why I liked Freerun so much. I was pretty upfront about that. It's like, yes, this is exactly what I was looking for in my content. I am the target audience. This is for me. Why does it look like his foot is broken? Art is hard. I just move it up. Does that fix anything? Yeah, a little bit, actually. It's all gonna be black anyway. Don't worry about it. Stop stressing. Yes, full title was the first Berserker, Kazan, that's true. Dannphan never got into Souls-likes myself. Whenever I've watched people stream them, they always look so slow. I guess that depends. That depends. You can certainly play a Souls-like quite fast. It's all about the play style. Some people, they want to armor max, and some people, they want to dex max, and another thing is you can actually... Some people have a lot of issues getting through the levels, right? But you could actually just run past practically almost every enemy and just go straight to the bosses. There's all kinds of playstyles you can go for, but I enjoy them. Is there a single mainstream media show, Eastern or Western, that does not show God as bad? Well, yeah. Yeah. That used to be the mainstream, believe it or not. It's only recently that it started to, like, tilt the other direction. If I were to just give you a random example, just off the top of my head, It's a Wonderful Life. God is the good guy. I mean, granted, that is, like, not supposed to be fantasy, but... Pretty sure... Let's see. What was the... You see, the second thing that popped in my head was Robin Hood, but I guess there's like a fucking million different Robin Hoods, so that's not being specific enough. I was thinking of the Disney Robin Hood, though. Or not the one with the foxes, the live-action Disney Robin Hood. God damn it, even Disney has multiple Robin Hoods. Why are there so many goddamn Robin Hoods? But yes, obviously, it is, yeah, It's a Wonderful Life isn't a terribly recent film. Exactly. Exactly. In the last 20 years or so, yeah. It's like everything. It really has infected everything. Once it became the, like, go-to, it's like people forgot about doing things different, trying new things and whatnot. Alright, I guess I should move on to doing... I'm just, like, wondering, should I make him separate? I think I should. I think I should do the vassal pen on a separate layer here. Maybe I'll put him in a folder. Gets his own folder, and we just worry about this one. Yeah, sorry. Focused is being divided. I admit it. not giving 100%. But yeah, it's incredible. That's why it surprised me so much when what's his name? The demon poster. He was talking about Freerun, and he's like, it's removing interesting elements by, like, choosing to not make demons, like, misunderstood or whatever. It's like, what are you talking about? That's everywhere. But to be fair, I don't know what kind of stuff the dude watches. Like, maybe he's just watching super old media all the time, and that genuinely comes off to him as something new and interesting at this point. His nose is too big, isn't it? Ooh, my laptop is cooking. It's going into hyperdrive. The major cook. Ultimate cook. Because I always find it interesting whenever I come across something that's like very clearly ripping something else off. Like blatantly so, no question about it. But somebody else will look at that and they'll be like, oh my god, it's so unique and interesting. I never even thought about this blank element. Isn't that cool that they did this? And they're like repeating the thing that they're ripping off. But to that other person, it's new because they just never encountered it before. And so they'll be like overly defendant of something specifically for a redeeming factor that is not unique to the writing skill of that person, you know? Because they're just taking it from someone else. That's sort of the edge a lot of people have with copying essentially other artists, writers in media. Is that they can sort of mimic their success to a degree by using what was successful for that other person. However, there is a lack of personality that comes with that. You know, you gotta have something that is unique to you when you're coming out with something you specifically are writing. Because eventually, you know, that's only going to work for a brief while. Eventually people are going to catch on. They're going to realize that you're just like taking shit from other places, and eventually the stuff that you're copying is going to become cliche, and then it'll be super cringe when you do it. You know? Like, it's not something you can fall back on. It's just copying what other people do. But granted, I've seen plenty of people become successful from doing just that. It's just like not long-lasting success. That's the issue. I'm just thinking of Super Kid, the Chinese Dragon Ball ripoff now. Or Korean or something. Yeah, there's a lot of those, for sure. And to be fair, I'm not saying that you need to always have completely original ideas or anything. Like, I understand that, that you don't always have to be constantly innovating a story to make it good. I'm just saying that you need to not rely on the story elements always being good. You need to be able to fall back on your own skill to execute those elements good. And in theory, I think you should be at least trying to build on the elements that you're, for lack of a better word, copying. Or taking inspiration from. Let's say that. Let's say you're just taking inspiration from stuff. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like, look at Reaper. You think I'm not taking inspiration from the millions of, like, corruption stories that there are? Oh, he has a cursed sword? Yeah. It doesn't sound entirely original when you just say it like that, does it? But there's other elements that I try to add in there to make it stand out. And that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what it comes down to. Although, what do I know? This is not what I would call a successful series so far, so... What do I know? Maybe I'm just a person who doesn't follow their own advice. I do have a folder full of, like, ideas for series. Just chuck full. 1,000,000 of them. 1,000,000. I chose this one because it just had this nice, I don't know how else to describe it besides, like, kind of cozy feeling. I could do a lot with it that you can't always do with other series. Like, if I want to include some lighthearted comedy, I can. You have that. If I want to include some horror-esque thing, I can. If I want to do action scene, I can do that. I just have so much more maneuverability with this series. And I like the characters that I came up with. I think they're just neat, you know? Granted, you've only met Ichabod at this point. Those of you who read the comic, of course. You've only met Ichabod, so you don't know really what to expect. But there are more characters that are gonna join the party. Yeah, that's right, we're doing an adventuring party thing. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be the best adventuring party, in fact. And they're all on a mission to remove this curse that Ichabod has on him. Will they succeed? Find out. Buy my comic. Please. We're not funding yet, but, like, be prepared to buy it when we are. Sorry, I'm just having an issue trying to work with these proportions here and make it look about right. Furry, don't you start. Alrighty. Curious what Ichabod will do to remove the curse next book. Well, it's gonna be a long journey. I'll say that much. We're gonna go a while before he gets that curse removed. Not that I'm planning to immediately end the series after he gets it removed either. I could keep going. I think it's always the best type of story where even when you solve one problem, you can still keep going and still have it be interesting. It's like the classic critique that that a lot of people have for stuff like these love triangle romances or harem romances, or it has nothing to do with what I was originally talking about, but the same kind of critique is something that relies on one piece of drama to move the story around, and then once the drama is removed, you can't keep the story going because there's nothing else there, you know? It's just like an empty husk. And that's why they hardly ever solve triangle or the harem nonsense until like they're ready to completely end the story. Which is not my favorite thing. Because I like to see the ootsy cutesy romance stuff. But yeah. It's a similar logic here, where like people might be of the impression that once Ichabod removes the curse, the series is over, and that's the end, guys. Haha, there's nothing else. Never mind all of the lore and world building that we set up. None of that matters. Because this entire series was just hinging on just that. Yeah. It's not like that. There's a lot of other things that can happen, you know? And it's not even like removing the curse is his only goal in life, you know? So, there's other things to achieve. It's like the character is of third dimension, as they say. I don't want to say anything that will spoil the first book, but will we see any more of a certain knight? Well, maybe a little bit. It's got a little cameo in book 2. He sticks around. He's fun. So that is one thing that I also like in Reaper. I get to do these super classic heroic knight characters, you know? And it feels like a lot of people want to subvert that too. Where it's like, oh, you think this knight is a good person, but actually he's bad. He's a anti-villain. Knights are bad. But yeah, it's a dark fantasy story, but dark fantasy works a lot better when you have the light elements to contrast it. So that's kind of what I want to play around with, is having these like heroic characters still exist, and still be like making moves. Even if they're not able to completely solve the problem. There's still inspirational forces in the world, you know? Ooh, I really... No, that doesn't look quite right, does it? Looks like a big old fat paw. No good. You've gotten really good at drawing monsters. Thank you. I've had to do a lot more monsters, especially starting up this series. There's gonna be a lot of monsters. I think I briefly mentioned it at the beginning of this stream, but we're gonna see some classic fantasy monsters as well. Part of the reason why I'm also simultaneously making new monsters, such as the one I'm drawing now, is because, like, part of the lure is there are new monsters being bred. So it also makes sense that we'll have, like, these multiple different varieties that will be very difficult to deal with. Especially because part of the deal with Ichabod's curse is that monsters are naturally just attracted to curses. Which is why he's running into this issue here. And it's why it's going to be very difficult for him to travel on his journey to remove this curse. Because there's going to be all these monsters coming after him. They smell that curse and they're like, yummy. Delectable. That also, of course, creates an excuse for me to put in a bunch of different fight scenes. Causes them to run into all kinds of different problems. But it's also like, it explains even more so why they can't stay in one place for too long. Which is also, of course, an issue. If you're attracting monsters to you, you're not gonna wanna put everybody in danger. I think this book 2 for Reaper, it's going to be much more, maybe lighthearted? Would I use that word to describe it? It's not going to be as dense, I guess. The first one was pretty dry as far as jokes. And, you know, part of that is just that I wasn't really sure where they fit in. We get the glorious night, but you know, not too much else. And it's also like somewhat of an origin story for this one particular character. So maybe it's better to some extent to focus on it being a little bit more serious. But I like the mood of book 2 a little better. I think it goes in the right direction. It improves in the ways that it needed to improve. We get more jokes. Ichabod actually is traveling with someone for a while, so he's not, well, he's still like kind of an edgy boy, right? Still kind of dark and brooding, but now there's like someone to balance him out. Every now and then you get scenes of him like breaking away from that behavior, which is something that also existed in book one. I feel like it's a good deviation to have an edgy character who is not edgy 100% of the time. That's what I was trying to do with Ichabod anyway. Like, yeah, he's a bit moody. But it doesn't mean he's gonna be mean to kids or anything. He still knows how to, like, get along with people. You know. He's not a total asshole. He's just depressed. Like I mentioned about trying to make characters a little bit more three-dimensional, you know? It's like there's not just one side to every person. There's a little bit more than that. Let me try to tilt this actually. That'll probably be smarter. I'm also glad that some people noticed that, like, he's not just stereotypical edgy boy. That he doesn't fit the trope entirely. Like, there's room for other parts of the character. It's good. I'm glad people noticed. Because sometimes it's good to extend on the trope rather than just copy-paste the trope. Now, the side project fantasy that I'm working on is also kind of dark fantasy. Well, yeah, it's dark fantasy. Fitting the same genre there. I'm probably just gonna, like, finish that up for the release of Reaper Book 2 campaign. Just because, like, it's something, well, because of a lot of reasons, but mostly because it's something that I can finish up fairly easily. Man, I'm not really sure if I really like how he's lunging here. I mean, I guess it's fine, but doesn't it seem like his butt should be up way higher? Am I overthinking? I don't know, man. Looking forward to see other characters you have planned to join Ichabod on his quest. Oh yeah. So, like, the way I had it planned out was the first 3 books were going to introduce each party member. So, like I was saying before, book 1 is like the origin story of Ichabod, and then book 2 we get Focus, party member, And book 3, we get focus around the third party member. And eventually I'd like to add a fourth party member, but I feel good about just having the 3 adventure with each other for a bit, and then not showing the last party member until much later. I feel like that is totally fine. Let me try to scooch this butt up. Don't take that out of context. Alright. How's that? Is that two up? Am I 2 up now? Eh? How about, huh? Now I'm breaking his spine. How about that, huh? I don't know what I'm doing. And maybe that's fine. Maybe. Maybe a little bit higher. Maybe a little bit lower. I think I do like it a little bit. You make your own comic as well? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I am attempting to do a series. It is difficult, of course. We're juggling all of these different things, as you can imagine. Yeah, that's her MO, counter to popular belief. YouTube is Dannphan and Chatham's side hustle. Yeah. Yeah, don't make much money from YouTube. That's usually how people come to find me, though, of course. Because occasionally YouTube will just hit me with this... Bam! Congratulations, you have a viral video. It really does feel absolutely random, sometimes. And sometimes it's just because I covered a hot topic that people just wanted to see covered. But yes, I would like to do comics full-time. Because that is what I actually enjoy. BlackRock buys Webtoon shares. I'm surprised they hadn't already. It seems like it's kinda right up their alley, doesn't it? Now, didn't I tell myself that I was not going to super hatch the heck out of this damn monster? I need to figure out how to do super dark tones better. I'm not super talented at them. I've been trying. That's what a lot of my practice sketches have been, is me trying to figure out, essentially, how to do darker, better tones. But, I'm not super talented at them right now. Yeah. I'll figure it out. Nothing's super finalized yet until it's printed, right? And even then, I can always release a second edition. That's what I plan to do for book 1. Second edition, let's go. should be getting darker for the... yeah. Why don't I just use this handy dandy tool here and thicken up those lines a little bit. Sticking up that butt. Sick butt. It's another thing I'm not super good at. Line weight. I don't know why. I feel like I'm pretty good at line weight when I'm doing art traditionally, but something doesn't translate to digital very well. I'll figure it out eventually. Alright. We have a lunging monster. Ichabod dodging out of the way. So now all that's kind of left to do is, I guess, the ground smashing effect and then the tones. I feel like I'm gonna mess up the ground smashing effect though. You could thicken your pen. Yes, of course. I could. But am I gonna? Yeah, you know, what I should be doing is I should be working with these hotkeys, or reorganizing these hotkeys on my tablet so that I can thicken and lower thickness of the pen much quicker and easier, because right now I do not have that set up. Man, I just realized that was a super obscure reference that I just made. Fucking Tana Mongo. Sometimes I don't know like what I'm referencing when I just like say a thing. Oh yeah. Everything that I watch is just like blending together in my brain. Can't even comprehend. I just repeat meme. What am I gonna do here? Do I work on ground smash? Or do I just start toning? I guess I should work on ground smash. I'll do like subtle ground smash, I guess. Something that I can like don't have to commit to that much. I can fix later. I'll work on like little rocks or whatever kick up. Yeah, ground smash, I know. I know the answer. I just... I'm just a big old procrastinator. I don't want to do the hard part. I don't want to do the part that I'm the weakest at. Well, granted, I think tones I'm actually probably the weakest at. Or, well, I can do gray tones. It's the blacks. It really is the blacks that I fuck up on. It's... I think maybe that also comes from a place from maybe insecurity. So I'm not sure how dark to make it. Oh my god, it's 8:46 already? Fuck. Fuck. That's another obscure reference. Ah! Just well, I did mention that I wasn't sure that we were gonna finish it. I'm gonna just try light lining for now. Just to get, like, idea of motion. And, I'll try to fill it in and make it look a little bit more authentic later. Do you cross hatch? I do occasionally. I like hatching, actually. I find it, like, very relaxing. Unfortunately, it also takes fucking forever. So it's not ideal for comics, but occasionally I will do some hatching. As you, this isn't really hatching, it's just me drawing a million quills, but you can imagine that how I would hatch the shit out of this monster. I personally say it's worth it, but I pick and choose which panels deserve all the shading. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there's still a couple panels every now and then in this comic that get the extra attention. Maybe sometimes a little bit randomly, depending on, like, how I'm feeling in the moment. But, I will say, since I wanted to do stream with Adam, we normally start around 10. And I'd like to relax and maybe eat before that stream starts. So I don't think I'm gonna finish this entirely. And maybe I'll just say, haha, buy the book if you want to see how this art piece gets finished. Because I feel like I'll take a while doing the tones, especially on the god dang monster. I'm not even really happy with the tones that I did up top. Like, that's fine, but no. It's acceptable, but is it good? Eh. Don't know if I would go that far. So even that, well, I might change up a little bit. I think I might just add more dark tones. Because there's too much light down at the bottom. It's distracting. It's distracting from his face. You know? Yeah. Right, here's Ground Smash. We have Ground Smash. Add some like grass or something on some of these. It's something. All right. And you know, honestly, this whole background back here, I'm thinking that I'm just gonna leave it white and focus on just toning all this over here. Cause like this is the important section, you know? And I feel like it's gonna pop out a lot better against a white this background. So, I'll do that, and I'll save a little bit of time there anyways. This mega porcupine looks cool. Oh, thank you. Thank you. It is a monster of my own creation. I've become quite attached. Yeah. I end up reusing this monster for book 3 too, because I figured, oh, well, there's more I can do with this guy. So look forward to that. Not that he's gonna be like a recurring monster. Monster arc when? Monster goes on his own journey? No. But you know. Right. Wrong pen. My cutoff for where the ground is getting smashed. All of this will just be like normal grass. So I have a general outline to go by. I feel that have your own creatures makes the world more interesting. Yeah. Yeah, and like I mentioned before, there's lore reasons for it. Yes. I had, let's see, I had a giant lizard creature in book 1. This was before I was complimented for my ability to draw monsters. I was still learning, so it didn't look as polished, I guess, of a monster design. It was just kind of a giant lizard boy. And, you know, you could probably make the argument that it looks like some other fantasy monster. That's fine. Someone who reviewed my comic just called it a dinosaur. I don't know if I would say that, but a dinosaur seems a bit of a stretch. Because I mean, giant lizards, they exist in fantasy quite often, actually. You know, like dragons, but, are dragons dinosaurs? Well, now we're asking the real questions. Alright, I'm gonna leave it here for now, but I will finish this page later, just not on stream. So here's our jolly work that we did on stream. And there we go. Big smash. Good smash. You know what? It's gonna bother me. God. It's just gonna bother me forever, isn't it? Where's that layer? Oh, you notice something psychopathic about how I work? I'm not naming any of my layers. They're all unnamed. Oh no. To be fair, I don't have that many though. Because this is gonna distract the eyes. I want people to be focused on the face, you know? That's a little bit better. Still argue that this shining is too much, but never thought I would complain about too much shining. I really like shining. Yeah, okay. It's a little bit better. Let's make these all pure blacks. Too much white. Not popping enough. Oops. It's something, alright? It's something. Okay, I think I do like that better. It's not the greatest thing in the world. I'm still learning, you know? Aren't we all? Aren't we all just eternally learning? So there's one quote that I definitely related to quite a bit. It's the quote that's like, art is never finished, only abandoned. I feel that, man. I'll never be finished my art. I'll always want to just mess with it, you know? Always want to build on it, or tweak it, or do something with it. But yeah, we're gonna start winding down for stream. Alright, so this is what we got. This is our page for the day. I'll finish the last panel. Don't you worry. Don't you worry your silly little head. Can I just zoom in for the whole page? Yeah, there we go. What do you think, guys? Is it coming along? Are you ready for Reaper Book 2? Ladies and gents? Does this look fucking peak? Huh? Is it peak or is it peak? Is Adam currently working on any books or comics? Oh boy, is he working on stuff. So, there are at least 2 things that I can mention he's working on. The other thing I'm not sure if he wants to make public or not, but he's working on a sci-fi. And it's a quite an edgy sci-fi story. If you're into grittiness and fighting and interesting random elements that make someone cool at fighting, you're gonna love that one. It's that's a novel, or yeah, that's I don't think he wants to make it a series, or at least he doesn't have the intention of making it a series. But for now, it's just a single story in a book. He's been working on that for a while. I think it'll be really good when it comes out. And then the other thing he's working on is Horizon Quest 2. Hey. That one is gonna be slow development. I'll say that outright, because obviously, look at what I'm doing right now. Do you see how long it took me just to do this much of this page? And this is an easy page. This is what I considered an easy page. We're 3 hours into the stream. It takes a long time to make pages, guys. It really does. I'm not even done. I gotta do the rest of this off stream because I got stuff to do. But it was still a fun stream. I still had fun drawing and chatting it up with the fans in the chat. It's always good to have you guys keeping me company here. But yeah, Horizon Quest 2. For those of you who enjoyed the first comic, you can look forward to that in the future. I don't know how long it'll be. I don't know when I'll be working on that, but he is working on ideas and an outline. Where he's at right now, stage-wise, is he working on an outline to figure out what is the next quest they're going to be on, and, you know, how that's going to play out. But it's good to be working on fantasy stuff in general. Like I mentioned before, I have another dark fantasy side project that I've been doing simultaneously, working with book 2 for Reaper. But at least it's both dark fantasy. At least it's both the same genre. So it's like I'm building off of both stories are building off of each other. I'm learning new things left and right, in fact. Yeah, I believe it was like a Bakuman quote where he's like, in order for an artist to master a style, he's got to draw at least 100 pages of it, or something like that. I don't know how true that is, because I feel like my style didn't develop completely until we were at like page 200, but I guess everybody learns at their own rates. Yeah. I still want to get Horizon Quest. I like the premise. Yeah, that's more high fantasy. That's more like fun, I guess. Fun fantasy. It's a lot more lighthearted than Reaper is. But that's not to say that Reaper does not have its fun moments. There's gonna be more fun moments in book 2 especially. I think that this is the more lighthearted of the 2 books. And I think it's mostly because it helps that now Ichabod is traveling with someone as opposed to just being on his own and brooding. Granted, in book 2 I did have a companion for a short while to kind of lighten the mood in book 1 of Reaper. But you know, that was a little bit short, and this is more long-term. This is like a commitment that this is going to be the guy who's hanging around Ichabod for the rest of the series. So, I think there's a lot more confidence in that, you know? Yeah, ready for book 2. Let's go. But yeah. Yeah, there are copies of Horizon Quest available, of course, on the website, Burning Star Comics. Let's go. So for book 2, I'm thinking we're gonna be launching on Fund My Comic and Kickstarter. There'll be the option to get book 1 as well. The first edition of book 1, because I still have copies of those. It's gonna take me a while to finish drawing book 2. But you know I'm good for it. You know that I always try to complete my campaigns in a timely manner. And I've successfully completed many, so I'll appreciate your patience where you have it. Now, I did say that I would do a cover reveal. I kind of want to fiddle with the cover too. That's the other funny thing is I'm like I said, art is never finished. It's never finished. But I'll show you what I have for the cover so far. I'll explain what exactly I'm looking to change later. If I change later. Let's go. Cover reveal. Yay! There it is. Reaper, the Beasts in Men. That's the book 2 title. Yes, and there's the new character. Adventuring side by side by our edgy brooding dude. This is how I kind of picture from now on. Let me just add another layer so that I can how I picture from now on designing the covers for a Reaper. You know, book 1, it's kind of just a mishmash of what I was feeling in the moment that I should do. And then this is a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? It's more organized, it's more thoughtful with how things should be balanced on the page. And also how I'd like for all of the books in the future to be concise with each other. Consistent. So like this, for example, that's how... Oh, I gotta get a much bigger brush size than that. That's not big. This, for example, is how I'd like to start showcasing like what number the book is that you're reading, have the subtitle below the like main logo, etc., etc., you know, story and art all the way down here. I don't know if these are the exact texts that I'm gonna use, but it's something easy and vaguely fantasy looking, so that's what I have for now. And then obviously the Reaper logo in of itself went through a total makeover. I moved the sword from here to here. The sword got a little bit of a downgrade, but part of that is just because, you know, it's difficult to work this particular sword into this particular logo. It takes up a lot of room. What can I say? But yeah, I also went for these borders like that. How do you like the borders, huh? Very, very old school. I almost felt like I was trying to like design a movie poster or something with how it was all laid out. But I dig the borders. I think they're fine. It's maybe it's old school manga style where they used to have a whole border around it and then the image is just in a box on the page. But you know what? Works. Works. Love how the flame is hovering over his hand. Yeah, that was something else that I had to like stylize so that the whole picture looks like it's all together, you know? And I changed up the shading or the coloring style from the first book, where first book I tried to go with some kind of painted style, but I didn't know how to paint, so it looked like a big muddied mess. Now I'm actually using a coloring style that I know how to use, and not that the painting is completely gone, but it's more so focused on the background image. The environmental image is a little bit painted, but the forefront image that is supposed to look good, that is a little bit different. So yeah, enjoy this cover. Let your imagination run wild with what the heck is going to be happening in this issue. Enjoy. Yeah. Soak it in. Good stuff. And yeah, thank you for joining me on another fantastic Drawing with Dannphan stream. I had a lot of fun. It was good chatting up with you guys and showing you my progress, as well as, of course, talking about what to expect from the next book. I'm really excited to get it in your hands to read. Funny enough, like I'm done writing the second book, you know? So that's one thing. But then, like, ugh. So, like, my brain is already on to book 3. Like, oh, I gotta start writing that now. I can't wait for people to read book 3, but I gotta slow down. You know, sometimes you gotta force your brain to slow down. It's the same thing with me thinking, oh man, I gotta get like an assistant to help me. So I gotta start paying an assistant to help me get these books out faster. But no, I gotta slow down, take things one step at a time, do what you can do now, worry about the future things when you actually have proven that what you can do works, you know? Get one step ahead before you start thinking 3 steps ahead. But yeah, it was a fun stream. Yeah, I had fun. And you can join us for a gaming stream, perhaps, in another hour or so on the Dannphan's channel. But to everyone else, I'll just say good night, and I'll see you on the Friday with Dannphan stream, which I hope I will do this week. But yeah, what else do I have to say? Oh, well, more videos coming out soon. I'm working on them. They're in the works. I've recorded them. I just have to edit them. So look forward to that as well. All right, good night, everybody. See you next time. Bye.